Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where at this point, with these guys preparing to declare their war on us, I think it's pretty clear that we need to get out from under the yoke of the minor artifacts shortage. So the first thing that we could do here... so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the reinforce all button right now. We're going to get a few corvettes with what we can with our minor artifacts. Then we are going to go into our ship designers. And we're going to, particularly in the corvettes, we're going to get rid of this by going to, I think, Marauder missiles. Or maybe we just go to Stormfire autocannons. Yes, I think we just go to Stormfire autocannons. And then beyond that, is there any other ancient things that we have here? This does still cost 9.6 because of the ancient defensive web slingers. Right. Do we want to go for the flak artillery or the guardian point defense? I'm just doing some quick stat comparisons here. This is much better tracking. Let's go for the flak artillery. Okay. So we can't save that while the Vigilant Swarm is upgrading. So we're going to go grab the Vigilant Swarm here. And we're going to tell them, please stop upgrading. Along with the planned swarm and the ready swarm as well. Actually, we're going to wait on that. They're only upgrading their Titans, right? I'm going to cancel these two Titans. This one's basically done. 20 days. So let's tick forward 20 days. Wow, that seemed really laggy. Okay. I guess it was just that one day. Cool. 10 days? 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ships upscaled.
Cool. Okay, so they're now all done upgrading, in theory. We're going to hop back in here and go into our ship designer. We should now be able to save this. A ship of this design is currently being built. Right, there's these corvettes here. I guess we'll wait on that. It's not very long. 94, 98, and there we go. We'll save this. And now the question is, with just the Corvette switched over, the frigates aren't that big of an issue, right? Yeah, the frigates are actually not using any ancient design. Okay, so what do we need here? 252. That's much less. We can at least do that. That's making corvettes and destroyers at this moment. Is that all we need for the corvettes? I felt like we needed... Oh, okay. Yeah, in the Edamar station. That's where all the corvettes are. That makes more sense. Now, we still have 16k here in terms of alloys. So I think we should do the same thing with our destroyers. Which means that I want to go in and cancel these 3 destroyers. What do those cost right now? 10? Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to drop out the Ancient Nano Missile Cloud Launchers, and we're going to replace those. Do we also replace... Well, that's all about the shield penetration, right? Maybe like phase disruptors here. It's a similar amount of damage. It's not interceptable. And it penetrates... just the same. It doesn't have the bonus to the hull damage, but I think it's a decent backup. Okay, so if we do that, what are we at? 7k. So presumably that's all of our destroyers queued up. We also queued up a Titan. Are we lacking in dark matter? Oh, actually we are. So dark matter's likely the problem here. I'm going to buy in like 200 of it. There we go. And cool. There's all of those alloys spent. So now we are constructing at full bore, basically. And we do have... Why is this only building a construction ship? Or rather a colony ship. The Beryllion station shouldn't be a shipyard. Okay. This station really shouldn't exist. For the moment, I guess it's fine. It's not going to take it that long to get through those corvettes. So sure, that seems to be fine. Now, it looks like they've stopped preparing war on us. I mean, sure. They've done this a couple times. In fact, we've seen this multiple times in the past. I'm reasonably certain that they're going to be preparing on us again. So I still think this is the right course of action to prepare for this war. It's coming. I'm almost certain that it's coming, regardless of whether it's saying that they're preparing or not.
Upscaling
they almost
complete.
certainly are. So that's fine for right now. This construction ship is heading over to Edamar. And I wanted to, while we're working on that, start working on some jobs here. So we need to resettle somebody from our capital, which our capital setup here is very eclectic, and that's kind of the case with all of these worlds. To be clear, this isn't the way I want a lot of these worlds. These worlds have been created by necessity because of the wars being waged against us. It's not ideal under any circumstances, and given enough time, I would like to go back and work on them. But for right now, it is as good as it's going to get. When we've got enemies preparing to declare on us, we just don't have the resources to do it at this exact moment. I want to check somewhere like Hasela 3 looks pretty good. Okay, so that'll be absolutely fine there. Any other jobs to be worked on? Not at this moment. Okay, so the cache compose is up over here. We did get this archaeological site pending, so 10 minor artifacts. That's fine. Hi, Zarklan. Okay, cool. I do expect that these guys are going to declare on us eventually. It's likely that these guys bumped up their power level a little bit and are now a little bit spooky to these guys. I'm guessing. Like, we can check over here. Equivalent, superior, yeah. These guys are currently pathetic, and I believe they were. This is the subject nation. It was these guys. Yeah, they're still superior. So these guys are all the same. We didn't make any major changes. I'm guessing it was these guys that did it. So that's fine. It just means that this is fairly borderline, which we did expect that. We expected it to be borderline. What is going on over here? I see. So these guys did declare this war over here on the Tuxcan entity. And they're just hard losing it. Okay, well, that's exciting. That is very, very exciting. The Tuxcan entity, well, actually, are they? This is fully occupied by the Imutharan Vestige. Do they have a fleet? They do. Or no, this is the Absorbers. Hang on. The Vestige. Yeah, they have a fleet. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but it's going to lose to this. Definitely. So the Fallen Empire is going to lose this. We'll see what ends up happening with that. For the time being, I don't think I'm scared of doing this at this point. So in that case, we'll do that, and I'm going to take this construction ship, and we're going to head over to Moa. Now, we might get declared on by the Imutharan Vestige. I am not scared of that. That is quite irrelevant at this point. We're going to keep reinforcing here. We do see that we need a few minor artifacts still. That's expected. I'm not surprised about that, considering we do have a few of those components still put into our... What types of ships are those in? I think there might be a couple in our battleships. Yeah, the Ancient Saturators. And that's basically it. Cruisers don't have any. Destroyers, it's been removed. Yeah, I'm reasonably content with these setups. So that's fine. I'm not going to be upgrading our ships, to be clear. That is not going to be happening. We're going to leave the ships as they are. The Beryllian Station, as soon as it's done with these corvettes, I'm going to change it around. Or just downgrade it. It really doesn't need to exist.
Research actualized.
What do we get there? Interstellar Assembly. Cool. So beyond that, we could grab Tomb World habitability. That's fine. Seems okay. Beautiful. So we're going to grab these 3 systems over here. This will probably spark the ire of the Vestige eventually, after this war. But we're really deeply unafraid of that, to be honest. Like, we can win against these guys, no problem. We do need to further expand our fleets. That's for sure. Ah, that's a bunch of terraforming that just finished up. Terraforming residue on that location? Okay. Ethos Prime is fine. Nothing needing to be done there. Gossamer Prime is reasonably fine as well. It was this one that we needed to clear out these tile blockers, and that's fine. We'll do that. Beautiful. No problem there. Superfluous terraforming equipment on Maradetta Prime. What do we want to do here? What indeed? This is set up as an agro world right now. It's not fully optimized for that. It's very close. I'm leaning towards an industrial district here. We're struggling a bit with our consumer goods. Yeah, let's do that for the moment. It's only a single industrial district, and I do want to put in a food processing facility here. Okay, so that'll do for now. And we largely have pumped out all of the ships that we're going to. Largely. That looks great. So the question is, when are these guys going to decide to attack us? Well, to a certain extent, it doesn't matter. Because we don't necessarily want to fight them at this time. I'm going to continue to pour alloys at this point into our fleets, mostly as a way to discourage such attacks. It's mostly a preventative measure. Pickling Alliance has a red fleet there. Okay. That's kind of an awkward spot for them, but whatever. Borders are technically open. They close borders to us, though. That's kind of funny. What's the price of alloys right now? 6.28? That's pretty expensive. Okay. I was thinking about maybe doing a purchase, but we did just spend all of our energy credits on dark matter, so I guess it's fine. How much more dark matter do we need? 211? We should have that by the time we have 26,000 alloys, for sure. For sure. We'll continue to reinforce our fleets. I would love to continue to improve our alloy production, or just generally our economy. We're largely pop limited at this point, so there's no doubt about that. We're going to get more pops out of our additional colonies, but it's kind of late in the game to be making more colonies, to be honest. So pop growth is going to be a little bit slow,
Colonial
but
enterprise upsizing.
Cool. So we are beginning to colonize up over here. Now, one thing we can eventually do once we have the influence is make claims here and attack the Calictoran protectors. They are super weak at this point, and that's definitely a doable thing. I wouldn't mind expanding up this direction with our hyper relay. We're going to need a hyper relay over here in theory. That said, gateways are much better for us now. It's a whole thing. We need a lot of influence is the answer.
Station under assault.
Pirates in the Astartes system. Okay, that does need to be dealt with as long as we're not at war. The Lesser Messenger is almost 100k now. Nice. And that is at full strength at this moment. Cool. Yeah, we have a few corvettes and destroyers that could be upgraded, but that would actually be a downgrade. So we don't want to do that technically. Which one of these is more important to us? I think at this point, Moa, just to connect all of this up. That said, getting a pop growing here would be amazing. Oh, this is already being built. Right, we did get that one. So I think we just wait then for Moa, and then Tethys will be after that. So that sounds absolutely fine. Okay, they just made peace. They took this system. Noted. So this response is definitely a lot. It must be their overlord. Yes. Their overlord has a bunch of subsidiaries. Noted. They're friendly and belligerent. That's interesting. An interesting
Research actualized.
What's the word I'm looking for? I cannot think of the word. Juxtaposition. That's the word. Beautiful. An interesting juxtaposition there. We could go for the Ancient Ruination Glare, and I like that.
Upscaling complete.
So at this
Blocker
point, what are we looking to do? We're going to max out our fleet with this construction. In the meantime, we're banking minor artifacts. Once our fleet is fully built, we're going to look to upgrade it to the minor artifact ships at that point, is the idea. So we'll continue to reinforce our fleet here. I was saying like 30,000 additional alloys. That's fairly manageable. Price here is 7.94. Okay, alloy price is definitely going up. This industrial world, we can move a pop. And I'd love to move them over to, like, we do need to move them to, like, a factory world. So, like, Beryllian 1. Okay. That'll be fine. We have a leader trait available here, and what do we want to go for? I mean, if we were surveying, this would be nice. We're not surveying. Assist research efficiency. Or just 7% research speed. They are our head of research, so that sounds good. Let's do that. Cool. So overall, what do we need? We need a lot of alloys, and we need a lot of influence. That is our primary two lacks. We are, of course, going to eliminate the pirate station with no real challenge there. And we'll head back to Edamar. Cool. Our fleets are definitely strengthening. The Zeltec progenitors. This is a stagnant ascendancy. They want to copy our neuro patterns. Sure, this is fine. We don't care about that. Although we'd like to sell it to them, but that wasn't, unfortunately, an option. So I do think that we go for perhaps just an industrial district here. It's an agro world, but we can't expand our agriculture districts anymore. We do have a deficit on consumer goods, so I think overall that makes sense. Soyu is an ocean world, and okay, we lose 10 influence there. Before we lose that influence, I'm going to queue this up. Okay. There we go. Because we can't actually go below 0, that means that we lost a lot less influence. Fantastic. So I'm going to not colonize this immediately. I'm going to start terraforming this into a desert world. There we go. Beautiful. So we need to keep in mind these guys are likely going to declare on us relatively soon. That shouldn't be a problem. We've beaten them before with the help of our, not quite allies, but our defensive pact up over here. We're negative on food right now. Really? That actually surprises me a little bit. What with getting the food situation... Where did we build that? Well, we could certainly upgrade to a food processing center here. That will make some progress on that. Sounds good. I am surprised we're negative on food right now, though. That's for sure. I understand that we have the nutritional plentitude edict, but that's still remarkable to me. That we've fallen that far. Interesting. Yeah, it's pretty much just pop consumption. Okay, well, we can deal with that. Not a big deal. It's not a huge deficit. We can do the same with our consumer goods slowly over time, and that is indeed exactly the idea. Now we can continue building stations as we get influence, but influence is going to be our primary lack for the moment. So we're going to build our mining and research stations over here. As soon as we're done in Soyu, we're heading down to Tethys, and we want to build that starbase. But influence is the limiting factor there. And that kind of has been the name of the game, this whole game. Influence is the limiting factor. No doubt about that. The Tuxcan entity is receptive and belligerent. Okay. I definitely want to continue to reinforce our fleets. Between us reinforcing our fleets much more quickly and whatever it is the hegemony did, these guys don't seem to be very interested at this point. Full equivalent. Okay. They don't seem to be very interested in attacking us at this moment. Now, we definitely don't want to directly attack them. Science Nexus research wings were almost there indeed. So we want to get this Science Nexus upgrading eventually. That's going to be 15,000 alloys. I think it's more important to put those alloys into our ship right now. Our ships are going to be very, very important indeed. How are we doing on our minor artifacts? Okay, 258. What are we building? We're building a Titan, 2 Titans. Okay. I'm going to go into our fleet management here, and we are going to go... are we? I kind of like the Stormfire autocannon over the Ancient Nanocloud missile launchers, to be honest. Yeah, it struggles to get through armor. That's what the phase disruptors are for there. And to be honest, the corvettes aren't supposed to be fighting on their own. The frigates penetrate the armor quite heavily with the Devastator torpedoes, or rather, they don't penetrate the armor, but they do bonus damage to the armor. The destroyers kind of... Is armor our primary weakness right now? At least in the smaller ships. I mean, the larger ships, we have a pretty heavy artillery focus. I think that is. We may want to consider having our frigates be heavily armor focused. Something like perhaps plasma cannons instead of the Stormfire autocannons. So this is minus 75% versus armor. Yeah, I think having our frigates switch over to an armor penetration focus makes a lot of sense here. Our destroyers, they have the disruptor to penetrate, they have the Stormfire autocannons to take down shields and hull, and then they have the gamma lasers. They're not amazing at taking down armor. They can do it eventually. So I think having the frigate be basically a dedicated anti-armor ship makes a lot of sense here. So our neutron launcher is better in that regard. No. Okay. So yeah, having frigates be dedicated to taking down armor. Corvettes are kind of dedicated to taking down shields. And then once those are down, our larger ships just absolutely shred. Now, I'm not super happy with our cruiser situation. I feel like cruisers need work here. So they're currently set up to be line computers, and they'll advance to medium range. Stormfire autocannons are a range of 0 to 35. This is 0 to 75 and 0 to 60. Ancient macro batteries. Okay. Yeah, this is just kind of mixed damage here, intended to take down both shields and armor. I think that's reasonably fine to have this be a not very specialized ship, because that can kind of fill any gaps between corvettes and frigates, right? And then battleships. Battleships are very, very focused on long-range, demolishing shields and hull. They're not great at dealing with armor. Do we have any long-range weaponry that can fit into a medium slot that can deal with armor? Honestly, Swarmer missiles aren't a terrible idea. They can be intercepted, but they're probably going to be more likely to be used than the lasers were. They penetrate shields. We don't really care about that. I mean, shields are going to die super quickly to our kinetic artillery and ancient saturator artillery. But they penetrate shields. They do full damage to armor. I think this is good. I think that'll be a decent upgrade for our battleships. Let's see, we're already running dark matter deflectors, yes. And then for our Titans, we're running basically the Perdition Beam into full kinetic artillery, which is reasonably fine. We could think about running... I don't think Cloud Lightning is great here. I think this is okay. So we run that as is. We have certain ship designs that are set up specifically to specialize in taking down each type of defenses. So that's okay. Let's go ahead and upgrade all of these and get those all brought up to that current standard. And that also means that we don't have a huge reliance on minor artifacts at this point, which I think is really, really good. So battleship hull points comes up. I like it. Whirlwind missiles. Okay, sure. We'll grab that, and that'll be able to upgrade our battleships then. That'll be a nice upgrade. So we're going to get all of these upgrades underway, and that is going to take a little bit of time. But not that long, to be honest.
Research actualized.
So overall, that looks good. Our fleet power has kind of exploded since we switched over. That's to be expected. So that's fine. Strikecraft fire rate. We don't heavily use Strikecraft, so for the moment, I think that's okay. We'll grab just one of these things kind of at random. Beautiful. And these upgrades are
Ships
working through. Cool. Even if our numbers slightly end up dropping from this, which may end up happening, I think we'll have better combat performance. Just because we have ship types dedicated to taking down certain defense types. Assuming that we don't go up against somebody who uses purely shields, or purely armor, or purely hulls, or whatever. That would be very strange. But I mean, purely hulls would be strange. But most AI fleets tend to be relatively balanced. Like, we can look at this here, and we can see... I think we have to select it like this. Yeah, we can see they're relatively balanced between armor and shields. And that's how most AI fleets are. So that should be fine. That will give us some decent changes there. We've also got a decent amount of alloys now, so we must be done with our upgrades. And we can continue to pump alloys into...
Upscaling
Okay, this is a little
complete.
cheaper now. I'm going to buy in 2,500 here, no more than that.
Ships
And we'll toss
upscaled.
additional into construction. Beautiful. With that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, if we don't get attacked by these guys, which is looking increasingly unlikely that they're going to think about it, we've definitely brought this up, so that's looking very, very good. If they're not going to attack us, then we're probably going to go after the Kalatoran protectors. But we are going to need influence to make all of that happen. Let's get a hyper relay in Moa. Cool. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kintogan, Andy Magar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.